In today's video, I'm going to be trading for you. I want to show you the daily routine of when I'm opening up trades, the entire process. When it comes to what token am I going to be trading? Am I going to be longing or shorting the market? And how long am I going to keep the trades open? By the end of this video, you're going to see that it takes a very simple process when it comes to trading daily. And it's important to have structure, to not chase or force the markets, rather but trade with the markets. And the next very important thing is to always trade strength where you are going to win. So guys, let's begin and let's start trading. So the first thing I always do is I analyze the market, and I start off with Bitcoin. I trade altcoins all the time, but you need to start off with Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the one that's going to give an understanding of where the market's at for the day. The next thing that I look at is Bitcoin dominance to see, is it altcoins or Bitcoin that is stronger for the day? Should I trade Bitcoin? Should I trade altcoins? So let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin has actually had a very good last couple of hours. I've just logged on now, just got home from work, and now I'm looking for some trades. And the first thing I want to see is what direction are we moving? And as you could see, we are very much moving in the upwards direction. So for me to long the markets, it kind of seems that I've missed that opportunity. Now guys, throughout 24 hours, you'll have opportunities of the markets going up and the opportunity of the markets going down too. And it's important not to chase trades. So when I see something like this, I see, okay, Bitcoin has had a strong rally to the upside. I might be late too long, but let's see if we are in shorting territory, or where would I long if I wanted to long? So the first thing I do is I analyze, is there any big areas of resistance? And the first one I've highlighted here is this previous low here. And what it means is if there's previous levels that price has either stopped or broken through and then retested before, these are known as resistances when they are above you. And these are areas of where price can stop. And I can see that this top and that bottom over there are two big areas on where possibly Bitcoin can pull down to. Now, the next thing that I look at is, where did we start this pump? What was the initial momentum? And what that does is it gives me an idea, okay, that if we reject any of these points, we will come back down to the initial momentum. There's a lot of times when tokens separate themselves from the original momentum that at some point they come back home, right? And what I'm looking for is there anything support-wise that is highlighting close to the trend here? And you can see this one on the left-hand side. So if I'm looking for a short here as an example, right, firstly, I can see that we could reject here. That's the first step, right? The second one is it worth the trade, right? So if we look at this as the shorting target, now I can see, okay, if I did decide to short here and put a stop loss above, is it worth the reward? And we could see very much that if I look at this over here, looking at 0.5%, okay, where stop loss risk would be, and my reward would ultimately be up to 2%. So I'm looking at a 1-to-4 ratio. Again, I'm not trading Bitcoin, but I'm analyzing Bitcoin as if I was going to trade it. Now, the next thing that I look at is I look at Bitcoin dominance. What is stronger for the day? And it's quite clear that we can see that we have a strong Bitcoin dominance. I do need to be aware that we have this resistance ahead. Remember, dominance, when we're going up, it means money's being sold into Bitcoin. So Bitcoin ultimately is stronger than altcoins on this day. But if we reject here, we could actually see strength of altcoins incoming. And maybe that's a breakout, maybe that is a rejection. Nonetheless, this is an important area. If we break through, we're going over here. And if we reject, we are going over here. All I'm doing is just plotting out simple supports and resistances and having an understanding. But as it stands, dominance is strong. Okay, so it definitely means if I'm shorting or looking to short altcoins, I'm definitely choosing altcoins over Bitcoin for now. Now we go down the list. So as I see here, I want to win the trade, right? So there's many different opportunities. If I look at this and I go through the alts, I look and I see this is the total 3 chart. We're at resistance. Perfect time to play shorts if you want to play shorts, right? Because again, my stop loss is nice and low, and the risk to reward is worth it. Now I go through the list. Now what I like to do is look for opportunity. And one coin that highlighted a lot for me was this one over here. It's a token that has been moving ridiculously strong. Now, I just want to clarify this. I don't usually trade the strongest tokens for the day, especially if I'm shorting. right? It's only once in a while when I see something moving like this aggressively over time. And just to give you guys a bit of an understanding, over the last 3 months, this altcoin has done 508%, which means it's very volatile to the upside. But what is intriguing me is how it's literally sitting at the highs. I want to short things that are at resistance, right? But again, I don't want to predict that it's not going to break through this area. So this is a token for me that makes sense that if we reject here and go to support, that's a good 10%. And if we break through it, it gives me an idea of where to kind of get stopped out. But now I don't want to specifically just guess that it's going to do that. So what I do is I now have an area of where we can reject, and I zoom in on this area. And I pay attention to the pattern that is being formed. Now, anything that is going up and sideways is bullish. So if I see something at a level that is pointing this way, that's quite strong, right? It's a bullish sign to say, hey, be careful, right? And anything that's also going sideways. So if we go here and go sideways, that's also something, hey, this can continue. What I'm looking for is the upwards angle. Is something that went up and is going up in this wedge. That for me is a bearish pattern, right? And as you could see right here, you can see that we have these two areas over here. There is the pattern. Okay, now I have two options. The first option is I could start shorting here and then put a stop loss and hope that it rejects. Or the second one is I can wait for the bottom trend line. And you guys can see I zoom in all the way because I want to see the details. Or what I can do is I can wait for the bottom trend line to break. When that breaks, that is when I can start shorting the specific token. Then again, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for that if I short this token, where can I put a stop? And if we zoom back in over here, once we break the trend, I can put a stop above the previous high. Where would I look to take profits? Right, is something like this, where this previous support that we have broken through is an area of where I can take profits, okay? And there's further supports down over here too. This might turn into a longer trade if I get a very strong rejection. Now look at this, guys. We just popped our head through. Now, I'm not going to claim that this has broken out yet. What they like to do sometimes is when this is critical level, and we break it, everyone will get very bullish about the token. And that's a perfect time traps can come into play. So I'm still very much interested in this token over here. And what I'm going to do is give it a little bit of time. And I want to pay attention to the pattern as well as the actual candlestick. And you could see that we are starting to see some fight here. Just to zoom in, just to show you guys. All right, you will see that volatility is incoming. Okay, and we are definitely starting a fight. So again, I know the token, I have the bottom trend in play. That's the bottom trend that I'm paying attention to. Until then, if it blows up, I'll wait for the next pattern. Again, we're doing this together. What I'm going to do in the meanwhile is prepare. Right? Prepare the trades that I'm going to be taking. So I'm going to be trading on BloFin. Remember guys, I do have sniper bags. When we get to 100,000 subscribers, I am giving away 10 of these bags to you guys. BloFin is the account that I'm working with. Any trades, any profits that I make, there's a certain percentage I take out and put them into the bags. The bags are worth $5,000. So subscribe. And the second part to win this is to open up a BloFin account. Link is below in the description. So here we are sitting with $19,000. Okay, the moment that I have an opportunity on when to short, I'll be able to understand the amount of leverage I can take on this position. For me, leverage is not just do what you want. It all comes down to your first entry. If your first entry is at a place where good stop loss is very minimal risk and I can take on higher leverage, I'll do so. Sometimes I'm trading 20x, sometimes I'm trading 3x. All depends on the entry. So right now as it stands, I'm gonna let this baby go. Don't chase the trade. Stay within the market. You got your plan. Stay in there. If it goes parabolic, I'll start looking at the rest of the opportunities within the market. Right now, top line is broken. We've broken through the highs. There's the bottom trend, right? And I'm just going to wait for this to go. And I'm actually going to see if this is the 100% correct trend. I do see another one that's more juicy. There is the trend. Now again, trend lines, more touches, stronger the trend. So there, previously I had a 2 or 3 touch trend. Now I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touch trend. Good trend line. Now I'm just gonna literally wait for this. When this breaks, what I'm hoping for is we're going to see a push, a drop down, a up, and then a drop. And that for me will be the perfect time to short and put a stop loss over here. I'm hoping that we don't just crash from here because then a stop loss is very high. So again, let's see how it goes out. Let's give it a little bit more time. I'm gonna leave this on for you guys and set an alarm. I have this on my phone, so let's go and set the alarm up, create it. And when I see the alarm go through, then it is time for the market. So guys, now you go continue with your day. Not about staring at charts all the time. I analyze the markets in a couple of minutes. I have my structure. Now I go enjoy and I come back when the alerts go off. Alrighty guys, so just popping in again. So again, you don't chase the trades. You basically wait for the market to bounce. We're starting to get a bounce, which is good. This should take probably about another hour, maybe a little bit less, to make its way up. We should start to see a little bit of a push up here and then the cliffhanger drop after that. And if I look at this here, we've just started pushing up. So probably in the next 30 minutes or so, we should be entering our zone. Then the trigger is not to short in the zone. The trigger is to short the trend. Because again, as it gets up here, when we start losing that trend, I want to get a stop in there and start shorting that point. So let's give it a little while longer, and then hopefully the trade will be ready in the next hour or so. It's now 8:30 at night. So again, you know, it's me kind of just doing my thing and having trading in the background. And I think that's a big thing that people don't really understand about trading is I need to watch the charts 24/7. I need to do these type of things. No. Analyze the markets, find your trade, have a plan A, plan B, put your alerts on and go continue with your day. It's about trading when the trades are available and not trying to force trades. By doing this, you'll see the success rate will go up a lot. A little bit of patience now. We should start at any point, start breaking to the upside. As candles start to print, you start to see a little bit more structure. So what I can see here is I do actually see that we lost a previous trend here too. So I just want to show you guys this trend that I see here. So this might also be a trend that I'm quite interested in, that we might not make it to my areas over here. We'll see. But I have to keep that in mind. But the next thing is, as we're tracking up, I am hoping we get a little bit better structure than this, but that is the bottom trend line. All right. So for now, that's the target. I'm hoping we start to do something like this, because what that will do is it'll allow me to put in a secondary trend. Right, something that I can track up and get a little bit closer to where we are now, you know, type of thing. But I'm just going to be patient now. Bottom trend into play. That will be the shorting trend. For now, that's the target. When we get there, that's why we're looking to open up some shorts. But again, tracking up with the trend. So again, I go continue with my day and I'll be back a little bit later once we are ready for the next trade. Alrighty, squad. It's now 9:30 at night. Kids are in bed. Getting quite tired actually. Hoping to see we get some action soon. So right now we could see very much that we are just accumulating. And to be honest, I love this. This is exactly, you know, sometimes you want to try catch the initial trade. But once trend is lost and then we start to make our way up, we start to form this kind of pattern. Right? And sometimes they'll be a little bit different. But the ultimate thing is we lost support. Now we're going to go up and retest it as resistance. And what you could see here is paying attention to the pattern that's being formed. This for me is a continuation, very similar to what I explained a little bit earlier of when this goes up and goes down, this is bullish, right? This for me is a pattern that's strong, that The way we come in is where we're going to exit. It's the same thing to the downside. If we come down and start pushing up like this, that is the area. Now, the next thing that's exciting as well is the more that we kind of crunch price like this, right? This is why retesting, entering on retest sometimes is very nice, is your risk is getting less and less. So if I took, for example, the short over here, right, I'd have to have quite a big stop loss. I'd have to pop a stop loss anywhere mid-range, anywhere to the top, and then that's a big stop. But the more we kind of crunch like this, and what I'm kind of hoping for now is either we start pushing up and accelerate this trend a little bit quicker and then drop off, and there'll be a perfect area over there, or we're basically going to start crunching closer here, and the moment we drop, the stop loss can go over here. So automatically, just by me being a little bit more patient, where previously a trade would take 5%, and that with leverage is a lot, if I look at entering the break of this trend and put a stop loss over here, I could be looking up to 1%, which means I can really crunch up a little bit on the leverage. Now we're going to still give us a little bit more time. What I also like to do is zoom out a little bit and kind of just look at what's happening. So I zoom out now to the 4 hour, and I can see that this is quite a strong rejection candle, right? If this finished green, then I would be a little bit worried that price will go up and fill this wick. But if this finishes, and this is a 4 hour candle, we've got 24 minutes left. If this finishes red like this, it's very likely the next candle is going to be red. Basically telling you that out of this 4 hours, we've seen price go from 270 to 310, right? It's been ranging between that, but ultimately the bears won the fight. And because the bears won the fight, it's very likely the next candle is going to be red. So let's zoom in here. Let's wait a little bit longer. There's two plays here. Again, we're either going to push into the zone that we've been speaking and waiting for. If so, what should happen is we should start increasing the speed, right? We've been going very slowly. We should start picking this up. Something like this, right? Where we start pushing through. If that happens, I love it even more, right? Because what happens is this now disappears and I start tracking this trend line. And what I have now is two trends, okay? And if we go up into that zone and break this trend, perfect time to enter the first trade, right? Then if it drops down and breaks this trend, perfect time to update my stop loss into profits and maybe even add more and adjust and make the trade even bigger within leverage. So we're going to give us a little bit longer. I will stay up a bit tonight for the sake of the trade in the video. Hoping it's worth it. It should be. There's a lot of good range here. But I think the important thing here is it's been, since I started, 3 hours, right? And I've kind of just went on with life, doing things in the back end, and just wait for the trade to come to you, right? The more you kind of chase in these type of things, you could see. So let's give this a little longer. We'll soon know if we're going to break this structure and speed up a little bit. I do prefer that because it gives me another trend that I can add more than just stops. But nonetheless, things are going to plan. What I am going to do in the meanwhile is quickly get ready with my exchange, because soon I'm going to be off of TradingView. TradingView is like my drawing ground, right? And then it's time to trade. When it's time to trade, I won't be on TradingView much, purely here on the exchange. So I'm going to just start popping in these trends over here and just start getting ready. Probably looking around a 5x leverage beginning start, we'll see. But just start getting everything ready here. I will be trading $19,000. I'm gonna go watch some TV and go relax a little bit. And oh, there we go. A little bit of life straight into our pockets. Yes, this will be nice. Let's get a bit of action. There is rejection points here. There definitely is. Why? Because these supports over here, or these resistances are here. But where there should be a lot of resistance is this area here. Again, I'm not really looking to guess. I'm looking to basically play the trends. But let's see how it plays out. If we get there, slow down, I might start an entry, put a stop loss, and then add more as the trend breaks. But for now, this is the plan. Anywhere in the zone over here. We hit the first one. Let's see what happens. But I do expect a price not to stay too long here. I do think there's going to be a hard rejection. Alrighty, we got action. Okay, we're finally gonna start trading. Okay guys, so been 3 hours, let's go. Okay, so the key now is we're starting to lose trend. I wanna kind of start shorting here on this. I'm gonna speak around stop losses. I'm gonna just fly so that I can not miss the trade. Okay, so let's jump in and so guys, I do market executes. I know many will kind of say, I'm gonna just take the trade and then explain to you guys. Okay, I've started my first entry. I'd like to get it a little bit higher. You know, you have to pay attention to stop losses here and risk. So right now, risk as it stands, probably around 1.55%. So I've only deployed around 20% of my position so far. Let's see, hopefully we can get a little retest going. And then the key here is to get a stop loss going back inside of the trend, because we shouldn't make our way back into that trend. Let's actually clean up here quickly. Let's get this trend in here. It's all that kind of matters right now. And I'm looking for some strong levels here. I will explain as we go. Okay, a decent stop loss is probably in that area over there. This is why it's important now to obviously not just fly into the trade, right? You want to make sure that you are certain. So I'm gonna wait for a nice candle close in 2 minutes. Hopefully we can start to get that. I do see that we also start to lose this little short-term trend here. So remember, a lot of my analysis is off of the higher time frames. Now I'm kind of zoomed in and trying to snipe the entry. Okay, so right now, down 180 bucks. I'm gonna add a little bit to the trade here. Let's see what happens. So guys, what I tend to do is I have a $19,000 account, or 19,600. I do put around 10 to 15%. This is me personally on a daily basis. I can risk up to 10, 15% to get my entry. Now, that might be a little bit much for some, but for me, this counts as stop losses, counts as basically, you know, sometimes getting trades incorrect and things like that. And when the wins come pretty big. I only like to really trade high risk, high reward type of trades. So not too much risk, but high reward. Okay, so let's get a stop loss in here for now. I'm gonna put it at 284. I'm gonna build the trade a little bit bigger. And let's see what we can get here. Okay, so let's go in here and 284. Once everything's in play, guys, I will explain more. Okay, we got something happening. Let's see. Okay, so right now I'm only around 40% of my position in, just because I want to make sure that this doesn't fake out and go back in. If this closes back inside the trend, it's very likely it can push up again. So I need to keep that in mind. So right now I have the trends here. Let's just do this again. Keep this nice and clean. I kind of want to stay below there on the close. So let's see. Okay, and then the next thing is I obviously scale up a little bit. And I want to get a 15-minute close below there too. Sometimes you get fake outs. If it fakes out, then again, what am I looking for? I'm looking for back to the high range trends, and then we'll see. That candle I do like. It's not too much of a bad candle there. Let's see. Okay, so what are my risks right now? Okay, I'm risking $1,900. So I'm risking up to 10% right now. Again, as soon as we get the little pop down, we should get acceleration pretty soon. This should start to accelerate to the downside. Then I can get the stop loss and get that down and start reducing risk a little bit. Okay, so the position size right now, I'm looking at $11,000 on a 10x as it stands. Again, I'm not fully certain that this is going to break down just yet. Going to give it a little bit of time. Let's see. But so far, a $111,000 position. So let's see. We're straight into resistance now. I want to quickly have a look at Bitcoin. See where the market's at. Okay, so Bitcoin's having a small bounce. I do want to see where Bitcoin is on the 4 hour. So something like this gives me a good understanding. So in 8 minutes, we're going to close the 4 hour candle, and the bears have clearly started to win here. We did hit a level of support of where Bitcoin can bounce, but what is good here is if we look at this again, this closing like this with the wick, very likely next candle is going to be red. So that can give us what we need for that little push down. See, if things happened a little bit different, so if this dropped here, that's why I won't be surprised if I do get stopped. It's actually okay. But nonetheless, I would have liked drop here, settle and drop, because then I could enter a little bit more aggressively with getting my whole position in. Right now, I kind of just got to play it a little bit slower. And you know what? If only a certain amount of your position's in and the trade plays out, then that's it. You know, you can't really put much more money into it. See, so we are breaking back in. Let's have a look. Okay, so as it stands, we still have not broken this trend fully yet, but in 8 minutes we have a closing of the 4 hour. So we'll see how that does. I actually want to have a look and see what the hour is telling us. Hour is still a little bit bullish. So I don't like that so far. We need to try close this red. That's ultimately what we want to see here. Close this red, because on the 1 hour, it is showing that we can see a bit more up. Always stick to your analysis. When you enter the trade, you start to think different thoughts. Did I do it right? Did I do these things? It's so important. Just stick to your analysis. Just stick to the trade. I've prepared if I get stopped, what happens, or what I kind of look for next. The more you kind of go and fiddle and play within the trades, that's where you tend to make mistakes. And trust me, I do that a lot. It does happen. It takes time for you to get yourself resilient and strong. To stick to that, to trust yourself. Very important. Okay, $12 profit. Yes, it's lunch. Let's go. Guys, comment below your strategies that you kind of use when it comes to trading, and what you I use trend lines, and very simple trend lines, patterns. These things are quite simple for me, rather than doing too many things. I do use Fibonacci to help me with stop losses, but 3 tools, and I've been trading quite a while, a couple of years now, keeping it very simple. Okay, where we at? $388. Let's go. Let's get a bit of a speed up here. So I don't mind. Usually I would like my entire position in, but ultimately I don't mind. This coin's volatile, so tokens that are a little bit slower, I try to build a little bit more aggressive. But ones like this that are moving very, very, very volatile, and the percentages are quite big, I don't have to worry too much about getting everything in all the time. The trade's still good. I'm 100K in, which is good. So if I can get that 10% drop, that's 10K. That's good. For $20,000 account or $19,000 account, 10K is very good. Okay, let's work on the next part now. So while we wait for this. So again, this is the first entry. This is not the end of the job, all right? This is just the beginning. So first entry, get something in the gates, cool. Get a stop loss in, all right? So if we look at a couple things now, my stop loss is basically sitting here, right, inside of the trend. Okay, the next thing that we're seeing over here as well is my entry price is sitting around here. So the first step now is to obviously get stop loss down into not risky levels, right? So basically, that's the goal. Can't do that yet because very likely I'm going to get stopped out if we retest. Because remember, from here now, we could retest and then get going. I don't want to get stopped out for no reason. So what I do now is I zoom out and I look at the next trend, right? Where are we going to possibly break down next, right? Or where's the next move? So if you look at this now, I just went a little bit left, okay? And I looked at where's the next trend line that I can find. And here's the 2 lows here. So it's very likely now that we're going to push down here. There's 2 options here. We're either going to bounce, go and retest and then go down. This might take then another hour or 2, right? Type of thing. Again, I'm not rushing or anything like that. Okay, so that's the first play. If that happens, and that perfect time for me when we break this trend, move stop loss in over here, right? And possibly I can move it even a little bit lower down and add more aggressively to the trade. I want to try and get the rest of my capital in, right? So that's the first play. The second play is we actually drop this now, we test, and then we go. This one for me would also be great because that means I can move my stops here, and it means that there's room here that I can make my trade even bigger, right? So those are the 2 plays right now. Let's give it a little while and let's see. I just want to confirm the 4-hour candle is still looking bearish. There's a bit of support here. That's why we're holding this level a bit. Once we lose this level, there's a big drop, right? So that's ultimately what I'm building for, is that bigger drop. And we definitely, like I said, we can see a retest here. So 4% up, $460 up right now. Let's give it a bit of time. So far, things are looking good. I'm going to go watch my movie again. I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes. Again, what might happen, and it's cool if it does, breaks up here, then that is where I want the next short. Okay, so that's if things go wrong. I'll see you guys shortly. Hopefully this move happens quick. I can go sleep. Lots of love, guys. So guys, when I'm obviously not at the computer, I will have my phone with me just to analyze. Okay, so things are starting to happen. Let's have a look. So we are $2,500 up. As it stands, we still haven't had the cliff drop that I'm waiting for. However, we're starting to break some structures, which is good. So let's reanalyze again. The first one was obviously breaking through there. There we go. That's the start of the trade. Okay, now the next thing was the next trend, which was over here. And you can see we have now started to lose that. Now, I'm not surprised if we do get a little bounce here, because if I zoom out here, I'm just looking to see support levels on the higher time frame. And if I just do a Fibonacci from here to here, we are at the 618. So this is the kind of last bit of support. After this, we should really start dropping quite hard. So now that I know that, we go back in again and just get a little bit of an understanding that this is the trend. It's quite vital we don't break back into this trend. All right, then we are really set. Once we break through this low that we are currently in now, then the free drop really happens. So what I'm going to look to possibly do here is, if I look at where my current stop loss is sitting over here. Okay, so if I decide to add more and build the rest of my position in, I do need to see on dropping the stop loss a little bit. So I firstly want to see here the 15-minute close that we close here by this trend, or at least the 5 minutes. So let's jump in here. So let's see the retest now. Should see a little bit of push to the upside here. I might add a little bit. So let's go through and see. So my risk right now is sitting at $1,900. If I do bring this down slightly, let's have a look and see where we stand then. 1,200. So I might still have a little bit of risk because I might add a bit more. So I might have a little bit of risk, but then straight after the next drop, I will then move my stop loss into profits. So again, sometimes I keep a little bit of risk. And just to give you guys a little bit of insight here as well, is I do have more capital on the side as well. So I do trade a little bit more, 5–10% risk and things like that. But I have more accounts as well that if something really goes wrong, I can capitalize. Because remember, something has to go wrong a lot, you know, for you to get kind of smashed. Again, we're trading with stop losses, so you minimize that. But ultimately, you know, you can have a strategy of 3%. You just got to be a little bit more strict and a little bit more patient for those type of things. But this is, I'm happy with the risk aspect of where we are. So let's see. Hopefully we get a small retest here. Bitcoin's starting to look a little bit bearish as well. I look at Bitcoin itself. Okay, it's in a bounce zone. Let's see if it bounces up. I don't think this specific token is moving with Bitcoin so much though. Okay, so there we go. It's now or never, right? It gets scary, but ultimately you learn to build a bit of confidence. So we're on that trend line right now. I am going to add a little bit more to this position. Let's see where my risk is now sitting. I'm back at the 2,000 marks. I can't really add much more. So I got a little bit more into the position and now I got $13,000 in. If I want to add, I got to wait for a little bit more drop off. I got to be able to get the stop loss down to build it bigger. It's very likely if I look at where Bitcoin's going to go, this is probably where it's looking at its next strong bounces. And same thing here. So let's look at the next support zones. The next support is sitting in these high time frame trends. So next support's around here. If we drop quite quickly here, it's very likely I'll take some profits. The goal is not to leave this in overnight. I don't really like leaving trades overnight. I hate that feeling when you wake up and have you been stopped out or are you in profits? I hate that feeling. So when it comes to my leverage trading and things like that, I tend to close my positions when I go to sleep. Just for that anxiety in the morning. I'm just not a fan. I've had so much of it in the past. Okay, so for now, not much to do, guys. If this candle in the 15-minute turns green, we might see a little bit of growth up here. Again, that just means that the trade will take a little bit more time. We'll basically push here a bit and then possibly look at the drop. If there's any bit of redness here, it's very likely we're going to go again, right, and go full. And all we have to do is lose this $270 mark, and then we should really start free falling. So just a bit of patience, and let's see what happens next. I'm going to leave it here for now. There's stop loss. I do want to see where is the 618 here. There's the 618, so I can bring that stop loss down a little bit more. Let's get that risk down a bit more. Let's have a look. See where my risk is sitting. $1,400. That's a bit better. The last thing I want to do is just to get stopped out and lose the trade. So I do sit in a little bit of risk, and then ultimately after that. So here we should grow up a bit more. A couple minutes for the 15, and then we'll see. Cool, guys. We're back to the couch. Yo guys, so I do see we're having a strong bounce here, and I was just charting on the couch there. I just want to make sure my stop loss is not directly in resistance. Let's have a look. Let me go to this chart here. Okay, so if I have a look at the top wick today. Okay, so it looks like the big area I want to pay attention to. So I'm going to raise my stop loss slightly. I don't want to get stopped out for no reason. So again, guys, this is taking on a little bit more risk. And we don't always want to take more risk. But for me, it's 11 o'clock at night. So either I can get stopped and refight for new entry, or I can just give it a little bit more room. I'm hoping it kind of plays out. If this does go against, let's actually have a look at the risk here. 2.8. It does mean the next trade I am fighting for some money back, right? To make the position a little bit bigger. But I don't want to get stopped out for no reason. It's important to give the trade a bit of a chance, especially if you've been fighting it for a little while. Okay, so I've just updated the stop loss a little bit. Just need one more push down. I can move and remove the risk. I'm just going to give it a while longer to 11 o'clock. Probably give another hour, hour and a half, and then I might consider leaving it overnight, but let's see. Again, guys, I've chosen a very volatile token. Other tokens are a lot slower, right? If you just look at this little drop that happened, even if you look at the top to here, you're looking at 3% on Solana. You go to this token that I'm busy with, and you look at from the top to the bottom, that's 8%. So it's at least 4 times more volatile than Solana today. Just giving it some room. There's a lot of bear wall here. Give it some time. Cool, guys. I'm gonna go chill a bit more, and we'll come back. It's 12:30, nearly bedtime. Okay, let's update you guys. So starting to slowly trickle down. So let's go through a couple of things. Zooming out here on Zcash, we've just lost an important support, right? So this previous, it's a Fibonacci level. Guys, there's a bunch of tools that you can use. I use like 3 or 4 sets. And this left-hand side high over here too, we kind of lost that. So it's very likely we're going to start free falling pretty quickly to these zones. Rest of the market's kind of bearish as well. So that was good. Us looking at a lot of the market going into resistance and picking out, to kind of short and go towards the altcoin side. So this is starting to drop nice and strong. Update on the trade. Let's jump in here. We're now $5,700 in profit, which is good. So the first thing I am going to do is just move stop to entry. And then we're going to kind of quickly evaluate and see if it's worth holding this trade for a little bit longer or holding it all overnight. I think that's a big question, because there's a lot of times you wake up in the morning and things kind of went wrong. And that's a crappy feeling, giving money back. So I have to be very certain if I'm going to leave this overnight, but we should really start free falling and dropping down to these areas. If we do, then my profits, another 3%, I should be around $10,000 profits, which I would be happy. So if I'm awake and that does happen, then I'm pretty much going to exit the trade there, $10,000 off of a $20,000 or $19,000 600 account. Very good. If I look at Bitcoin as well, it's looking pretty bearish. So let's see if it drops the level while I'm still awake. So we basically dropped. Let's go back over here now. If we drop this level, then it's very likely I might hold overnight, because this might turn into a very big short. If we look at the high time frame here, this might be moved all the way down here. And that's still another good 15-20% away from where we are now. So we shall see. First step was remove risk. So no more risk, which is good. So far, successful day. We didn't lose money, which is good. I did, however, like I explained previously, had to move my stop loss a little bit up. Now, my original one wouldn't have hit, but ultimately, you know, as a new leg formed with the drop over here, I did look at the fib levels and my stop loss might have been a little bit low. So I just moved it outside of the trend. We survived that. Now we have moved that to break even. If I look at Bitcoin, I just want to see if there is any big supports here of where we could possibly bounce. Wow, it does look like we're coming into some support here. So there might be a temporary bounce here. So I must keep an eye of that. If we lose this, then there's a really strong pullback incoming within the markets, and then worth possibly holding a bit longer. But so far, so good. I'm gonna give it a little while longer. Hopefully the TP hits. If we get there, it's very likely I'm gonna take profits. A lot of people kind of ask when or how do you know when to take profits? With these kind of trades, you know, I can kind of use the same approach of when I bought into it. It was a non-prediction, right? So instead of predicting it's going to bounce here, there are a couple of reasons of why it could. I'm just going to have the trend kind of drag down. And if we bounce there, break the trend, you know, that's kind of TP out. And this is very much if I'm near a computer, I'm busy with my day, but I have my alerts on. I can come and market execute out. I know a lot of people use limits. I personally use markets. I know I pay more in fees, but if I'm playing the leverage game and doing that, I prefer not predicting as much and rather getting breaker trends, which are very hard to do when it's limit orders. So this trend over here, if I see we start to lose these levels, I'll hold and just drag the stop loss down as this trend goes over here. Other than that, this is probably very much likely where we'll take some profits. It's 1:46 a.m. in the morning. I'm ready to go to bed. Things are starting to move nicely, which is good. So I'm looking for one last push up. The more I kind of look at it now, is I do think there's a temporary bounce incoming. I think overall this token's actually going to come down quite a bit on the high time frames. But I think temporary there is going to be a bounce. So it's not worth an all-nighter. Now, if we had to lose these levels, sometimes I would stay up the whole night, guys, and I would kind of, you know, trade when the market's giving money, right? You could see we've been very patient today, and all I'm looking for now is last little push down. Even if I don't get it in the next 10, 15, I'll kind of manually close it. But I'm looking for one last little push down to this area over here, and then TP out. Right now, we are sitting at $8,200 in profits. For one last push to the downside here, I will be TPing out. And then what I think is going to happen is I think we're going to get temporary bounce. So a temporary little bounce, and then I think there's a bigger collapse. So I actually think there's going to be another short opportunity, possibly in the next 24 hours, maybe the next 12 hours. Probably as soon as I wake up, we might have bounced already. If it collapses through, I am going to keep one of my trades open here on my phone. This one's a little bit, I don't mind this one running a little bit more. I do have a position on Zcash here, and this one is also, it's a $140,000 position. So it is 9,000 of my own dollars, and I was building up a bit of leverage on it to 15x. So I'll maybe leave this one open as a stop loss at entry, but this one I'm definitely going to TP out over here, and then there'll possibly be another trade. So last few moments, guys, I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. Let's see what happens. Let's jump into Bitcoin here. Wow, Bitcoin's on an important trend line here. If it loses this, that's why it's worth me leaving one of my other positions possibly in. Maybe we do drop this level. But we should see a temporary bounce, to be honest. Next candle will probably start off a little bit red, and then we'll go green. Probably end up here within the morning. Or it will drop and do something like that. So there'll be some more opportunities. If this drop does continue, I'm probably looking for longs in the morning, not shorts. Guys, right now, market's kind of choppy. You just trade where the obvious trades are, you know, instead of trying to predict it and these type of things, just go with the market. Okay, let's see, where are we? Come on, One last drop. Come on. We need life here. We need one last drop. Sometimes you play this battle for this little extra amount. Would be nice to hit the 10K though. It would be nice. Stop loss. I'm just going to move a little bit in profits. Just leave that there for now. But I will be exiting the trade before I go to bed. The thing is though, there's not much support here. So if it is a bounce, it's not a real bounce in my opinion, which means probably likely we're going to do something like this, right? And then go down to that area. I don't want to stay up that much longer though. But guys, in total, you could see we're running on 7 hours since I started analyzing the charts. I took the trade about 2 hours in, 2-3 hours in. So total around 4.5 hours of trading. Again, everyone will trade different amounts. But overall, so far, 53%, which is good. This is something that I would basically do as a day trading strategy, right? Whenever I want to trade, trading's become a little bit of a luxury for me. I traded every night, every second for a couple of years until I was able to build a nice long-term investment portfolio. And now trading's for when I kind of need one extra cash. I kind of want to do stuff within my life. So I use trading as a way of kind of living the life of spending a bit of cash. I don't spend much of my money that I save. So if I want to buy stuff, like right now I'm trading for a new computer. That's a reason for these trades as well. And 10K will be sweet for that. Building a whole new setup, which is cool. So guys, let's give it a couple minutes and I'll be closing out, and that will be it. Let me know, guys, hit the like. I will record. I trade a lot, so I will trade and explain and just show you guys. It's a little bit hard to do it live when you have lots of people that are involved in the process. It gets a little bit tricky, but me, myself in my office here at night, just doing my thing, I can really just break these trades down and show you guys different ways of trading. Sometimes there's way bigger moves. Right now, I love this volatility. It's just nice and choppy. So you can trade the up, trade the down. If you get 2 or 3 of them right in a row, it's really good. We will come across losses. I'll show you guys how we deal with losses. But let's give it a little bit longer and let's see how things go. One last drop. Come on, baby. So the problem now, guys, is I'm going to be facing a decision in the next 3 minutes. It's daily open, right? So the new candle's going to start. And it may start off red, it might start off green as well. What tends to happen is the first move is kind of fake. And then so if we start ripping from here again, it's probably likely that we're going to do something like this and then come down. So I'm going to keep eyes on this. It's crazy. Your head can go just for a couple of percent. Because again, here's support here and there's more support down there too. And that's another 5K. So let's see if this pushes down right into the close. So guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to allow one 5-minute candle from market open. What I think is going to happen is I think we're about to push a little bit into market open. I think there's one candle that's going to drop and then we're going to go. If that does not happen, I will TP on the break of this trend. That is when I'm getting out. Sometimes you set on targets that you want to hit. Today I have the target of 10K that I'm kind of building for, but not really a target. So I'm a little bit more loose today. Usually, kind of exactly what you want, right? I wasn't even planning on doing a video. This was just, I'm going to take a trade. Let's record it and just show you guys the mentality and how I kind of think behind these things. Okay, guys, let's see. Come on. What shall you do? What shall you do? What shall you do? Oh, everything resets. Everything resets. This is starting off red. That's starting off up. So there's still a bunch of resistance here. So any starting green, I don't know if I'm going to believe it yet. Guys, once support is hit, then I believe pumps, right? But let's see. But here there's resistance. We still haven't claimed this yet and we haven't hit support. We are literally sitting in this wedge here between support and resistance. Now another thing that's also interesting, let's go here on quite a bearish candle here. We might start off a bit green on the daily, but overall we should come down for the day. So this is what I was saying. Once we've hit support, I do think it's a temporary bounce, and then I do think there's a lot more downside. So this could be a double trade. get this trade now and then get the trade in the morning. Guys, I will be taking 10% of profits here and adding them to the 𝗦𝗶𝗏𝗧𝗏 bags. My poor editors, 7.5 hours of screen recording. They gotta edit. I'm gonna buy them a couple of Red Bulls tomorrow. I think also one of the questions, why am I trading so late? Unfortunately, South African time, the US is quite behind. So like now, I think it's only going into the evening US side, or maybe markets are closing. But yeah, so trading is really nice at the night for me. The volatility is good. So once the US is open, markets tend to just play a bit better, you know, a little bit more volume. So we recently just lost this trend. It's not much space. And then secondly, we also lost this low. I always use closing candles for me. They work a bit better. Again, it might reclaim it, but it's telling me that this is possibly going to reject this area over here and actually continue more down. And where I think it can go down to, again, so total 3 is just looking at altcoins as a whole. It's down here. Might not want to do it just yet. Okay, Zcash is going the opposite way. If you guys are new and you've never really watched me before, just pop in the comments there. Just say new. Love to see how many new people have joined the new channel. Okay, I've stayed up until 2 a.m. Might as well stay up just a little bit longer. Let's see what happens. Again, guys, I market execute out. I know many will argue against that for fees and stuff, but for me, as you can see, when I market execute earlier, I lost around $70. It's not that I don't care about those fees and stuff. It's just I'm a reactive trader. I don't have the time to get a specific line correct. Right? When I see we dropping, because again, what I look for is slowness and then speed up. And when we speed up is usually when we reverse. So here, what I'm looking for is the last little speed up. And then it's very likely pin bar candle and we start reversing. So I kind of go off the sentiments and how things are flowing more than it's going to go to 256. There's been so many times that my trades have just missed and then haven't gotten out of them. You keep holding them. So for me, I'm a little bit different. I will use limit orders when prices are high up and I want to buy low. I'll put limit orders in and leave them in. If they get hit, then I'm happy. So I do use limit orders, but not so much with day trading, which means I'll trade a little bit higher volume tokens. So it doesn't take too many trades on the market. Excuse me. And I don't trade too much of size. There's the bounce. Fake bounce. Come on. I don't think you are real yet. Okay, there's the resistance. We're gonna hit it now. Okay, so we hit the resistance. If we finish this candle like half green or with a wick, then the next candle will be green, and then we'll kind of look for this drop. Again, if it decides to pop through, I'll take a little bit of the loss of what I did have. But then at least I know, okay, shall go to bed, you know? But as long as we blow here, my TP can still be hit, or the drop that I'm looking for can still happen. Give away some cash here, man. Where are we at? We're at 5.7 now. Okay, guys, gave it a couple of minutes. We're starting to reject again. You can see we didn't close the candles above and we started to reject. This is kind of the last push for me. And then it's definitely time. Where is Bitcoin at? Ooh, wow. Bitcoin is actually quite bearish. Guys, for the sake of me sleeping, I'm calling it a day. I'm getting out. Okay, so I came up with basically $7,000. I started with $19,000. It's probably going to go down now, but at least I'm in on the other one. Started with $19,000, I think 600. So just under $7,000. I lost around 120 bucks with the market execution now. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. This was a total, I can tell you here, I got the screen recording going. 7 hours and 52 minutes of me looking at the charts. I spent around 40 to 50 minutes on the actual charts, looking at things. The rest was analyzing, the rest was just understanding timing. Your trade's only going to be ready later. Right? Put a trend in, wait for it, and trade when the market is ready for it. So this is what I ended up with the time that we have. I'm happy. 7,000 is cool. I'll add around $700 to $1,000 to the 𝗦𝗶𝗏𝗧𝗏 bags. And we'll get going with the next one. There's a lot of things that I want to trade for and trading challenges that I want to do, and I'll be doing these together. Remember guys, if you want sniper bags, in the description there's a BloFin account. Open up a BloFin account because I will be depositing to the winners in their BloFin accounts, right, once they're selected. And remember to subscribe to the channel. Oh guys, and remember, all of this was educational purposes only. This is me trading my accounts, no financial advice, but I do think you're gonna learn a lot by just seeing me trade in front of you. Lots of love guys, see you soon, bye-bye.